Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to drop a quick video, a little bit of an explanation of how stacking silver actually helped change my life. And that's not a dramatic statement. When I was out of high school, I started a business. And over the years, built the business up, focused on the business, and ended up with a lot of revenue and nothing that would make you rich, but I wasn't hurting for money. Built a successful company and really didn't have a lot to show for it. Unfortunately, the public school system doesn't teach us the power of money. They teach us what I call the luxury of money, where you pretty much spend all you have and don't really have a lot to show for it. Several years ago, I was introduced to the stacking community of precious metals. And of course, at that particular point in time, I did not have a lot of money to invest into precious metals. So I started stacking this type of silver. And you say, why this type? This is a 40% half dollar. It is not 90% silver, it's 40% silver. And this is war nickels. War nickels are 35% silver. It's low silver content, and most people don't stack it. I stacked it because at the time I could actually buy this below spot, and I was able to accumulate quite a few of these. I actually have more than a guardhouse box of nickels. I do not recommend that be the type of silver that people necessarily target. But as a beginning stacker, I had to go after what I could afford in order to get the weight in my stack built up. As time progressed and finances got better, I quit stacking this and began to start focusing on 90% constitutional. Ended up stacking a lot of it. But again, as time continued to go, I began to change the type of silver that I was interested in buying. I kind of got away from constitutional, and I began to start stacking silver bars, rounds, and got a few, I guess, few hundred ounces of that. And then began to start stacking Silver Eagles. Working on getting this monster box filled with Silver Eagles. Still have not finished that because premiums got so outrageous after COVID, or after the virus. It just wasn't something that I could continue to stack. Just the premiums were too high. So I've changed the focus on what I stack to other type. Well, pretty much as far as the precious metals goes, I stack gold, and I do still stack some silver, but gold is what my primary focus is at the time. However, how did this change my life? So what stacking did for me was it helped me to realize how to invest your money into something that actually has value. Buying precious metals, it does kind of feel that desire that we have within us to want to accumulate something, which is the reason why we spend money. A lot of times we obviously spend our money on things that we need, but the excess that we have, we spend on things that we want. And typically, once we get it, we no longer want it. And I come to find that stacking gave me the I don't know, adrenaline, what you call it, but the joy of buying something, but actually having something that is really better than putting money in the bank. I would much rather have precious metals than have money in the bank. I do believe that everybody, for their financial stability, you don't need to put everything you have into any type of asset. I do have cash. I don't keep a lot of cash on hand, but I keep enough for emergencies or for opportunities that come up. Quick cash, if you need quick cash in a hurry. Everybody needs that. That needs to be your first priority, is to have some type of emergency fund that you have quick access to. I paid down my credit card debt. I do not have credit cards. I've not had credit cards in years. The only debt that I would have would be a mortgage on a home, and that's something that we are in the process of trying to pay off as well. So, but in the meantime, I just don't want to finance cars. I don't want to finance any type of an automobile. And you definitely should never finance buying precious metals. This needs to be, whatever your budget is, that's what you need to do. You do not need to spend more money than what you have. But what it did for me was it changed my mindset. It gave me the ability to learn how to invest my money into assets. There's different classes of assets. Precious metals is really probably one of the smallest asset classes in my portfolio. And it will not be the biggest asset that I hold, but it is going to be an asset because it's a stabilizing asset. And I'll talk more about that in later videos. But for now, my point that I want to make to you guys is, regardless of where you're starting and what you have to do, like I said, I started out with the silver that most people don't want. And even today, you don't see videos and people talking about 35% nickels, 40% halves. The lowest that you'll see people talk about when they talk about constitutional is going to be the 90%, like you see right here. But most people go for silver eagles, bullion, bars, whether it be bars or rounds. But whatever you have to do to get started, train yourself to quit wasting so much money. And instead of spending money going out to eat or going and buying just stuff that you don't really need and come to find out you don't really want after you have it, start investing into something that actually has value. It changed my mindset. It made me start looking at assets in a totally different way. It actually helped open the door for me to start buying real estate. And all because this one little asset began to change my mindset on how to spend and save money and what to buy with your money. And as you start, don't be ashamed to start out small, just like I did. And over time, your goals will change. My core stack, the base of my precious metals, has changed as time has changed. As I have grown, the type of precious metals that I wanted to have, what form and shape that it would be in, that has changed over time, and that's okay. That's the great thing about it. I don't sell a lot of this. I have sold some in the past, but I pretty much just accumulate it, and then I store it in a safe place, and don't tell nobody where my storage place is at. That way, I mean, you can come to my home and you'd never know. And because I don't store everything in the same spot necessarily, and I don't leave this stuff laying out where people can see it, because in order for me to even do a video, I have to make a decision of what topic I want to talk about. I have to go get the the coins, the metal, and then I have to bring it to where I'm going to film at. And it's a little bit of a job, but I highly encourage you to look into stacking. Look into starting out with whatever you can stack. Low premium, high weight content is what you want. Decide what your goals are, what your abilities are, and just start. And as you start, you'll find that money begins to find you, and you'll find more ways to get more of this. So just consider it. Take a look at what you can do. This opened the door of opportunity for me in many different ways. And like I said, I'll probably go into more detail with a lot of that later on. But start your stack. And if you are stacking, keep stacking. There's a lot of sentiment in the market right now or on YouTube that seems to be discouraging about precious metals and the way it's performed over the last few years. And you really need to educate yourself to understand what this metal's designed to be. What type of an asset is it? And any asset that doesn't perform the way that it needs to, you need to evaluate that asset. But you need to have a realistic understanding of how that asset is designed to perform in the first place. This is not a get-rich-quick type of asset. This asset does not bring in monthly revenue. This is a portfolio stabilizing asset, and you don't need to hold 100% of everything you own in precious metals. It's just not a good idea to do that. I highly recommend that you take a small percentage of your portfolio's total worth, and don't overdo how much of this you own compared to other assets in your life. But this is a stabilizing asset. When everything else goes into chaos, this will still have value. Anyway, the video is getting a little bit long. I'd love to go into this topic a little bit deeper. But for now, just understand that starting your stack will change the way you think. Educate yourself on how important it is for you, your family, and your future for you to invest into something that will hold value, gain value over time, and will be able to be used for any situation in life that you may face. Stacking silver was what helped me to understand how to invest my money. And even though I had to start out small, a lot smaller than I'm able to do today, this is where it started for me. And in just a few years, it did not take 100 years to get to accumulate. It's just something that you just have to stay steady at. Don't compare your stack to other people's stacks. You start out where you can. Don't compare how much you're able to purchase in a month compared to somebody else. You start where you're at, and you continue to build until you get to where you need to be. I appreciate you watching. This is Asset Stacker. If you don't mind, please like and subscribe. We'll talk to you later. Keep stacking.